This is Plant-Based Briefing. What is the vegan trifecta? By Diane Rose-Soloman at Main Street Vegan Academy at mainstreetvegan.com. And I'm Marian Erickson. This is the Plant-Based Podcast where I curate a variety of articles on plant-based and vegan living, get permission, and narrate them to you here in about 10 minutes or less every weekday. And I'm pleased to have permission from Main Street Vegan Academy to share their content. So now let's get to today's Plant-Based Briefing. What is the vegan trifecta? By Diane Rose-Soloman at mainstreetvegan.com. Vegan for the animals. When I first adopted a vegan lifestyle in 2019, it was for the animals, and if I could go back, I'd make the same choice again. It remains one of the best decisions I've ever made. I thought it would be harder than it was. Most vegans I connect with say the same thing, and we wish we'd done it sooner. To be fair, it took me years to get to this point, and I have compassion for people who are on the path but not quite there. But once I did, I thought, okay, I'm still here and thriving, so maybe this isn't so difficult. Kitchen confidence. At first, however, I didn't know how to cook anything plant-based. I always cooked for my family, and I missed that. Yet, I'd open plant-based cookbooks only to be met with foreign ingredients. Frustrated, I'd slam the book shut and walk away. Until the day a vegan cooking class opportunity landed in my inbox, I didn't hesitate and signed up right away. That class changed everything. I learned to cook a handful of delicious vegan meals, including dishes with those mystery ingredients. Soon, those weird ingredients were staples in my pantry, and not so weird anymore. My plant-based cooking confidence soared, and I began exploring recipes on my own. Cooking isn't required to be vegan, but it can be healthier, more affordable, and more satisfying than relying on processed or store-bought foods. With my new compassionate lifestyle and increased cooking competence, I was excited. I wanted to shout from the rooftops, being vegan isn't hard, and cooking plant-based isn't so bad either. A new hesitation. One thing stood in my way, however. What if being vegan was great for non-human animals, because we weren't eating them, but not healthy for human animals? I was determined to find out and enrolled in the Cornell plant-based nutrition program. What I learned reassured me and inspired me even more. Eating a whole food plant-based diet is one of the healthiest choices we can make. That's when my rooftop proclamation grew. Being vegan isn't hard, cooking plant-based isn't hard, and it's healthy too. Vegan for health. While studying plant-based nutrition, I began meeting and learning about people who had reversed lifestyle diseases like diabetes, heart disease, including high cholesterol and high blood pressure, even staving off some cancers, all through a whole food plant-based diet. Unlike me, their first exposure to eating plants was for health reasons. This was fascinating and new to me. They weren't vegan for the animals. They weren't eating animals for their own health reasons. Vegan for the earth. I also learned how deeply our environment is impacted by animal agriculture. Methane emissions from animals and their waste, deforestation for grazing, and the staggering reality that nearly 80% of global agricultural land is used for animal agriculture while providing only 18% of the world's calories are all impacts of animal agriculture. For some, these environmental truths are the tipping point. They go vegan to protect the earth. The Venn diagram moment. Eventually, I realized these three motivations, compassion for animals, personal health, and care for the planet, intersect in a powerful way. In my mind, I saw a Venn diagram with three circles overlapping: compassionate vegan, plant-based for the environment, and plant-based for health. I call this the vegan trifecta. Some may live mostly in one circle, a health-focused eater who still wears leather, or an animal advocate who eats vegan junk food, but all share a plant-based connection. More circles? There are other less discussed motivations too. Some choose veganism for spiritual reasons, feeling a deep connection to animals, the earth, and each other. It was for spiritual reasons that I gave up fish. Others choose veganism for religious or social concerns. Mental and emotional benefits are another piece, beautifully explored in Dr. Angela Crawford's book, The Vegan Transformation. I attended her vegan transformation workshop, and one slide showed a Venn diagram with the title, "Everything is Connected," and I was delighted to see such a thoughtful version of the Venn diagram I had in my mind. Shared with her permission, this diagram beautifully captures how caring for our bodies also cares for the planet and other beings. In Angela Crawford's Everything is Connected Venn diagram, There are 3 overlapping circles: caring for self, caring for other beings, and caring for the planet. Caring for self involves healthy lifestyle, stress relief, renewal, sense of purpose, support, and plant-strong diet. Caring for the planet involves appreciating nature and living more lightly on the planet. And caring for others involves compassion and kindness toward other people and animals. Based upon her findings and from my personal experience, I can attest that going vegan and certainly eating plant-based is ideal for our mental and spiritual health. Paths converge. Here's where it gets interesting. I know many who started in one circle and later stepped into another. People like me go vegan for the animals and then learn about the benefits of eating a healthy, potentially whole food plant-based diet. It just takes some tweaking of ingredients and making good choices, and your compassionate lifestyle is now super healthy. Likewise, I know others, including medical professionals, who started eating plant-based for their health and then discovered the realities of farming and embraced vegan ethics. The full circle. That's the magic of the vegan trifecta. It's a win for animals, a win for our health, and a win for the planet. Add in the spiritual, emotional, and other potential rewards, and it's a win-win-win-win-win. For me, veganism began as an act of compassion for animals. Over time, it became a path to better health, a commitment to the planet, and a way to live in deeper alignment with my values. That's the beauty of the vegan trifecta. Once you step into one circle, your world can expand in ways you never imagined, and you begin to see just how connected we truly are. You just listened to What is the Vegan Trifecta by Diane Rose-Soloman at Main Street Vegan Academy at mainstreetvegan.com. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson. As some of you know, I had a similar journey, except starting on the whole food plant-based side of things when I learned the incredible health benefits of that diet and how unhealthy it is to eat meat, dairy, and eggs. I had no idea what to cook or how to cook. We ate out a lot because I hated cooking, and we didn't have any vegan restaurants in our area. So I dove into researching how to cook. I started with the Whole Foods Diet book by John Mackey and doctors Alona Palde and Matt Lederman. And it had a 4-week meal plan in the back. I literally followed that: breakfast, lunch, dinner. And some of those are still my favorite recipes. But then I continued researching and tried different meal planners and recipes and would listen to podcasts. And I couldn't avoid learning about animals, learning about the environment. Learning about the animals was incredibly difficult. I never wanted to know that before, but for some reason I was ready this time. And not just factory farming, animal farming. It is horrific. It is unnecessary. It is cruel. They don't get agency over their own lives. And even if they weren't treated poorly and mutilated, they're still killed at a fraction of their natural lifespan. I used to think farm animals got to live out their lives in a beautiful, idyllic environment, and then when they died of old age, they'd get eaten. No, it's funny the things that we let ourselves believe, but it's not just factory farming that's bad, it's animal farming that's bad. It's unnecessary, unhealthy, incredibly cruel, but it's so ingrained in our society that it's hard for people to change, and I understand that. And that's why I started this podcast, because there are so many reasons to live a vegan lifestyle. Sure, the big 3 of health, animals, and the environment, but there are so many more. And I'm honored to be able to share articles about some of these various reasons and some of the more obscure ones, like the workers' situations, like antibiotic resistance, things like that. There are many, many, many reasons. So please share this episode with anyone who might benefit, and thanks for listening.